If you want some FIFA 23 coins, please check out MMOXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're fast, cheap and reliable, and if you use code Rema you can get yourself a 5% discount. So what's up guys, my name's Ash and welcome back to a brand new video. Now I'm a little bit sad today because I'm actually missing World Cup matches to record you guys videos, so you better be grateful. No, but all jokes aside guys, I'm bringing you my updated 4-2-3-1 narrow custom tactics and player instructions because one of the comments I got on my video was it'd be nice if you updated us on your tactics when you do change them, the ones that you actually use. So I was like, you know what, fair enough, people like the 4-2-3-1, so I'll bring you an updated video on the 4-2-3-1. But just before we get into the video guys, I'd very much appreciate it if you could drop it a thumbs up because I just missed Saudi Arabia beating Argentina to record this. So yeah, it'd be very much appreciated, and also subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos like this one, and don't forget to turn on those notifications so you are notified when a video is posted. And with all that aside guys, let's get right into it. Okay, so here are my custom tactics, and although a lot of things are the same, quite a few things have changed at the same time because of the way the patch has changed the game. So starting off with the defensive style, as always I use balance because again I like to press when I want to press and I want to drop back when I want to drop back. I don't want to use all these pressure tactics, so I don't use them. I use balance. Be cool. Use balance guys. Now for defensive width, because a lot of people like to play through the middle, I keep this on about 42 because it stops people playing directly through the middle, and it also gives you a nice bit of coverage on the wings as well. So you can defend very narrowly, but when somebody does try and play down the wing, you also have that covered. Now for my depth, I used to have this at about 65. That's because obviously pace was terrible before the update for like controlled and explosive players, so when you had lengthy defenders it was very easy to catch up to those players over a longer distance. Now it isn't the case, and these explosive players will absolutely blitz you, so I have my depth on about 48, 47, you know, it doesn't really matter, it's about the same, but it's important to lower that depth because otherwise you will just get destroyed by these through balls. It doesn't matter how good you are at defending, they're very difficult to stop because they're extremely assisted and accurate, and players seem to have these weird speed boosts whenever an over the top through ball is played, so to counter it you just have to lower your depth. Unfortunately, that's just how the game is nowadays, but yeah, 48 depth, 47 depth, that's what I use. Now for offensive tactics, on build-up play I use fast build-up, and this isn't because I always like to build up the play very quickly, it just gives me the option to if I want to. Now if I have this on balance for example, you can see the white dots move around in a slower motion, you know, there's not much going on, so although I have a more balanced style, if you look at fast build-up, these white dots are constantly moving around, so it doesn't matter if I want to play slower, I always have the option to play quicker if I want to, which is why I use fast build-up, and I would suggest you guys trying it if you haven't already, because a lot of people just use balanced, but honestly fast build-up's really good if you give it a go. Now for chance creation guys, it's becoming a ritual at this point, but I use direct passing because if you look at the diagram in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, it is the only setting which gives your players the correct attacking movements, because if you look at the white dots, it's the only one which makes them dynamically move to create chances. If we look at something like forward runs, they move just not in the best motion. If you look at possession, they do move around but not to create chances, and if you look at balance, they're very static, you know, so it's better to use direct passing because you get the best movement out of your players to create those chances. Now for attacking width, I've actually upped this from what I had it before. I used to have it at about 35, 37, but now I've gone for 40 because I think it's important to get that extra width after the update, because obviously when you run down the wing it's very difficult for any defender to catch you, and it's probably the best way of getting into scoring opportunities. So I've upped the width to about 40 so I can still play very narrowly, but my wider players sit just a bit more on the outskirts of the pitch so I can play it down the wing when I need to. This is just because of the new pace update honestly, and it's very important to be able to run down the wing when you need to because it's just how the game is. But yeah, I suggest having your attacking width on 40. Now for players in box, this one is down to preference. I had this on about 6 before, but I've upped it to 7 just because I really want to get those extra players in the box to really finish off the chances. I know I'm more susceptible to counter attacks, but I honestly think it's worth the risk to get extra players into the box to finish off the chances. It's a little bit more fun and you don't really notice the counter attacks that much anyway. Like there's not really much difference between 6 and 7, so I just upped it to 7 and it's been working great for me. Now corners and free kicks are exactly exactly the same. They're down to preference. I just have these on 2 because, again, I like to cross the ball to some players in the box, but I also don't want to be counter-attacked all the time. I don't really think there is a big difference between 2 and 3 anyway, so I just have it on 2 because there's still players in the box, but again, I also have players back to block the counter-attacks. Now, for the players you want to use, guys, in the striker position, because there is only one striker in the 4-2-3-1, it's important that you have a striker that can do it all. Ronaldo is a very all-round striker. He's got pace, he's got strength, he's got the height, he's got the skills, he's got the shooting, he's got the dribbling. You get the point. He's got everything you need in a striker. If you use a one-trick pony in the striker formation, especially in a 4-2-3-1, you can find it to be very ineffective because you need them to do a bit more than one thing. So Ronaldo's very good because he does a lot of everything. He's actually very cheap nowadays in this game. Now, for your wide cams, you have a bit more freedom. I'm using Layout and Chiesa just because I like using them, but you want quicker players with better dribbling, good shooting, you know, agility. You need them to be those technical players out wide because they're the ones that are going to help create you those chances, especially out wide. And if they're slow, you're not going to have a great time with them. Now, for your central cam, you need to have somebody with the great attacking movement or somebody with like a high work rate or a 5-star weak foot, which is why I use Diogo Jota. He's not the most expensive player, he's not the best player, but he works very well in the system, which is very important for me. So he also gets good chemistry as well. So I think that high work rate in this cam position is very important, and the 5-star weak foot's great. So yeah, in this cam position, just make sure you use somebody that has the best movements for a cam, because if you use somebody that has like a high-low work rate, they're not really in the correct positions for a cam and they don't transition correctly. So the cam position is very important that you get right. Now, for my right CDM, as always, I have a more box-to-box CDM. I'm using Renato Sanchez because he's got very great all-round stats. He's got great pace, dribbling, passing, shooting, defending, physical, great stamina, 4-star, and the most important thing is he's got the high work rates. This is very important in the CDM position because I'm going to show you in my player instructions why this works so well. Now, my left CDM, I actually have a more defensive player. So I have Patrick Vieira. This is a player that's designed to stay back and break up the play, and it's important that they have a good defensive work rate and not so much a good attacking work rate. But again, we'll get into that with the player instructions. So a good balance between the CDMs is always important. Now, for the left back and right back, this is down to preference, but I like to go for more technical players in the fullback positions. A lot of people like to go for players like Kyle Walker, but I honestly think you don't need to. I think it's better to have those more technical players, especially after the patch, because you need to be able to play out from the back, and if you use too many clunky players, you'll find it difficult to do so. So it's important to have players that can attack and defend, which is why I went with Hernandez and Hakimi. Now, your two centre-backs are pretty much the same in every formation, but Varane and Kimpembe are great for me. Kimpembe is obviously not meta that much anymore, but he still does the job. So it's important that your two defenders are quick, lengthy, got good height, and the good defensive work rates. Keeper is down to preference. Now, for player instructions, guys, these haven't changed too much since my last video, but we're going to go through them right now. For my striker, I like to have stay central and get in behind. This is because I don't need him drifting off to the wings because we've already got the wide players for that. You need him to be in that central position to be in the correct striker positions. I have him on getting behind, not because I always want to play the ball in behind. It just means they make the best runs and they have the most movement. And if I want him to come short, I can call him short with R1. So it gives you the best variety in attack. Now, for your central cam, I suggest just having him on stay forward. And this works with the high work rate thing I was telling you guys about. So the reason I have him on stay forward is because when I had him on basic defensive support, when we were defending, he was dropping back far too much. So he was never in the attacking positions when we won the ball back. So when I put him on stay forward, because he's got that high defensive work rate, it kind of counteracts this instruction a little bit and puts him more in a middle ground position, which is great. So that's why I have him on stay forward. Now, for my left cam and right cam, I just have them on get into the box for cross. This isn't because I want to cross the ball all the time. It just means they have the best runs. Sometimes if you have them on balanced crossing runs, they just sit on the edge of the box too much. They don't get involved and it's very difficult to create chances. When you put them on get into the box for cross, they are always getting involved. They are always looking to make those runs into the box to finish off those chances. So it doesn't mean you have to cross, but I think it works very well on these wide cams. So yeah, get into the box on both of your wide cams. Now, for your more defensive CDM, I have changed something here. I've put Vieira on cut passing lane, stay back while attacking, and cover centre. This is because I want him to cover the centre of the pitch because we've already got lots of wide players to cover the wings. wing. We don't need him to cover the wing. We need him to sit in the middle of the pitch and break up the play. We also have him on stay back while attacking because, again, he's a more defensive player. We don't need him to attack because he's not very good at it. So just having him on stay back while attacking means he does his job a lot better. Now, originally I had this on balanced defense, but I've changed it to cut passing lanes because I've noticed a lot of people do just play through the middle. So it's helpful to have that cut passing lanes setting on at times because it just helps you break up the play for those people that are just going for those one passes all the time. Now for my right CDM, the one that is a more box to box, I have him on balanced attack, cover center, balanced defense. Now the reason for this is because I don't like to limit what this player does. He's got more of a free roam role in this formation. The only important thing is that we have him on cover center because, again, we don't need him to cover that wing area because we've already got lots of players to do that. It's important that he's always defending in the middle to break up the play in the middle of the pitch. Now, I don't have him on cut passing lanes or stay back while attacking because, like I said, he's got that high work rate, which means he contributes in attack and contributes in defense. This is why this instruction works for him. If he was like a medium high, then he wouldn't really contribute to the attack that much. Similarly, if he was a high medium, he wouldn't defend that much, so we'd probably have to have him on like stay back while attacking. But because he's got the perfect work rates for a box to box midfielder, it allows us to have him on balanced attack. I don't have him on cut passing lanes because I like him to do a bit of everything, but again, that is just down to preference. Now for my left back, I just leave him alone. This is because I like him to contribute to the attack because it gives me extra width and extra attacking support. This is why I think it's important that I have a more offensive fullback, one with attacking capabilities, because they are actually contributing on the attack, and I find it to be very effective. This is down to preference though, and you could have them on stay back while attacking if you want to, but it's completely up to you. I just have him on balanced attack. For my right back, however, I have him on stay back while attacking, and this isn't because I don't like to attack with him. It just means we always have at least 3 defenders back when we need to. So when we lose the ball, we'll always have like this back 3, and we'll also have Vieira as well. So we always have this back 4, and then Jota and Sanchez with their high work rates do come back. When I do want to trigger a run with Hakimi, I'll just use L1, or I can use the D-pad tactics to make him join the attack. But this is just more of a balanced support option. That's why I use that. But yeah, they are my custom tactics and player instructions for the 4-2-3-1. If you guys have found this video useful or informative, I'd very much appreciate it if you could drop it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos like this one. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you are notified when a video is posted. And with all that aside, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will catch you all later. Peace.